So, when the markets get shaky, it's totally natural to feel a bit nervous and start looking for answers. Our first instinct is almost always to look backwards, right? We see how we've handled storms before, hoping that'll give us a map for what's coming. But what if that instinct is actually setting a trap for us? Let's get into it. If you're an investor, you know that feeling in your gut when the screen is just a sea of red. And you might think, okay, let's just see what happened in 2008 or the dot-com bust. The idea is, if we can just figure out the pattern of the last crash, we'll see the next one coming. But is that really how it works? Is history some kind of crystal ball? I mean, we've all heard this, right? It's everywhere. And honestly, it's comforting. It makes it seem like the future is just a repeat of things that have already happened, and that all the answers are just sitting there in a history book. For a lot of people, this is the entire foundation of their financial plan. But let's just pump the brakes for a second and ask a tough question. What if that comfort is actually a trap? What if looking backward isn't just a little unhelpful, but actively dangerous for your finances? What if the biggest risks out there are the ones that history has no record of? And this right here, this quote gets to the absolute heart of it. It's such a powerful image, isn't it? You're moving forward, maybe even at high speed, but your eyes are glued to what's behind you. Think about it. Your rearview mirror is great for context. It shows you the cars you just passed, the turn you just took, but it tells you absolutely nothing about the giant pothole that's about to open up, or the sudden traffic jam just around the bend. And in the world of finance, just like on the highway, it's what's ahead of you that can really wreck your day. So, what gives? This is the big question. If history is just packed with data, why can't we just feed it into a computer and get a perfect map of the future? Well, the answer has to do with the nature of the biggest, most world-changing economic events. Here's the key concept you have to understand: the unprecedented event. The moments that truly shake the markets to their core, they aren't reruns of old movies. They're world premieres that nobody has the script for. By their very definition, there's just no historical blueprint to study. And if you just look at a few of history's biggest game changers, you'll see what I mean. The Great Depression was a complete structural collapse, totally different from any downturn before it. The rise of the internet wasn't a crash, but a tech revolution that rewrote the entire rulebook for business. And the 2008 crisis? That was a meltdown of super complex financial instruments that barely existed a decade earlier. Each one was a completely new animal. And here's the kicker. They all had one thing in common. Nobody could have predicted them by studying what came before. I mean, studying 19th century bank panics would have told you exactly zero about the credit default swaps that blew up the world in 2008. These events literally create their own rules as they happen. Okay, I get it. Hearing this can feel, well, a little defeating. If the biggest risks are totally unknowable, why bother trying to be a smart investor at all? It's a totally fair question, but it's based on chasing the wrong goal. We need to completely shift our thinking. And this slide right here is maybe the most important mental shift you can make. The goal is to stop trying to be a fortune teller. Stop trying to guess what the next crisis will be. A pandemic, a new technology bust, some wild geopolitical event, who knows? Instead, the new goal is preparation. It's about building a financial plan that is so robust it can handle a shock, whatever that shock turns out to be. So let's just be crystal clear. Give yourself a break. You don't need a crystal ball. That's not the job. Your job isn't prediction, it's preparation. Let's go back to our car analogy. You can't predict every pothole on an unknown road, so what do? You build a car that can handle it. So what does that look like with your money? Well, first, it's having good tires through diversification, so one flat doesn't wreck the whole car. Second, it's having reliable brakes in the form of a healthy cash reserve, so you can stop when you need to without being forced to sell at the worst possible moment. And third, you need airbags, right? A high savings rate that gives you a personal cushion to absorb the shock of any surprise. So what's the real lesson here? When we study financial history, we aren't learning what's going to happen next. We're learning something much bigger, much more powerful. We're learning that things are always changing and that the most important events are always a surprise. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's so easy to prepare for a repeat of the last crisis. But the real danger, the one that can really get you, is the one you can't even imagine right now. Your financial plan needs to be an all-weather vehicle, not just a raincoat designed for the last storm. So, after all this, if there's one single idea you should take away from our time together today, what is it? What's the core concept that will help you navigate a lifetime of investing? And this is it. It's that simple. A surprise isn't a sign that your plan failed. Surprise is just a normal part of the deal.
Once you truly accept that you will be surprised, not if, but when, you stop wasting energy trying to outguess the market. Instead, you can focus on what actually matters, building a durable, resilient plan that can get you to your goals no matter what roadblocks pop up on the road ahead.